All right. So, in the interest of helping a brother out, which some of the new viewers won't know about, but, we had a friend around here, may he rest in peace, who said that, one of the things we're supposed to be doing here is helping a brother out. We're sharing information we think is important for other people. I feel like we should just say what we believe, how we got there and stuff. We got in arguments, but, he did make a very important point. If you think you have some truth that other people would benefit a little bit from, you should share it. And that's what this is about. So basically, there's a ton of course, fascinating topics about this COVID virus, this SARS-2. But we're not going to go into those. These political issues, how socialist style solutions are being tried by both sides on board. Um, well, anyway, a million things. But one thing's been concerning me, which is how the press is overpromising this concept of a COVID-19 vaccine. They act as though it's for sure going to be here. Oh, but we have to wait, is the bad news they tell us. Um, maybe we'll have social distancing and restrictions until there's a vaccine they're talking about. There is no scientific reason to presume there will be a vaccine. There have been attempts to make SARS and COVID vaccines, and they encountered trouble, making people more susceptible to other germs. Similar to this, they talk about if you get COVID 19 and recover, that you're somehow immune. Well, probably, you know, science would indicate your immunity will be raised, but not being able to catch it again, that's not a guarantee at all. And again, the kinds of COVID that are the so-called common cold, you get those again and again. They have mechanisms to without mutating to defeat antibodies. So, or so it seems. There's a lot of chance of that. So really, the only scientifically reliable goal at the moment, though there's many things that go on at once, but you just don't know how fast like a cure is going to come. You want a cure, you want a vaccine, you work on those. But in the meanwhile, not knowing if that's going to come, what we need is widespread, universal ideally, testing so that people that have um, the virus can be isolated. Um, we don't overwhelm any medical systems. We can take utmost care with those people and study them carefully so as to learn about the disease and help basically the cure and the vaccine. And there's two kinds of cure. There's this idea of a vaccine or a cure that kills it off, but it's a virus. That's famously difficult to do. There's also just whatever the you know chicken soup and bed rest. What is best? Maybe the people don't shouldn't be put on ventilators. Maybe a more lightweight one earlier. Maybe just keep them off ventilators and make sure they have vitamin C. Make sure they have vitamin this or that. There's ways to help the body heal itself. There's ways to keep people alive while their body fights it and increase the odds greatly. So recuperative types of approaches. I imagine we can rely on those getting better and better, and hopefully there's some that work great. But mostly we just have to do a bunch of testing, and we should not be counting on some general some type of immunity that eliminates it. And we should also not assume there's going to be a vaccine. We certainly can't make our plans based on that. So that's the entirety of this message. You should think about it. You should definitely not believe what they tell you in the press. You need other sources. When they just talk about a vaccine in the mainstream media, I immediately go and try to search more first level information, more primary or at least secondary information. Um, you'll find that the press is 5, 6 levels of indirection out there, and you can see what's really going on in the science. The studies are ongoing, and there, there's no evidence really at that level of primary information that we have any reason to assume there'll be a vaccine or how long it'll take. And you can't just say, hey, we're going to do this plan until they get fusion energy. Um, you have to base it on what is currently possible that's not happening, and that's basically ubiquitous testing, at which point we can use isolation and just general, uh, you know, ways of maturing our uh, whatever the whatever schema we want to have to help people through the illness. Um, I certainly do hope we get a vaccine. I wouldn't. I'm no doctor. I wouldn't want to guess uh, if we will. But as a citizen in this system, watching this and looking at the data as it comes in, we should not assume that. We need to go right now for the ability to test and map and so that we can watch the behavior of this germ with the utmost clarity while whatever our therapies are mature. Right. Cheers.